Hey there. Got my favorite deck of cards, the Knock 009 Ice. And I thought I would do a trick for you. So, I love the way this deck of cards looks on this color magic pad. It's just a very cool looking deck of cards, you know what I mean? And it just matches up nicely. So here's what we're going to do for you today. We're going to go ahead and do a little tricksy just to test out the table, see how it's working, and see what you guys think of it. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We're going to have you pick a card. That's going to be your card. And we'll stick it back into the middle of the deck, right? And now I need your help. I need you to think really hard about that card. You know what I mean? I need you to kind of think, like draw, using your energy and stuff. Just give me all that you've got so that we get an opportunity to maybe get your card to come to the top of the deck. So what we'll do is we'll give it one final cut. Have you been thinking about your card? All right. If you've been thinking really hard, you will have drawn your card to the top of the deck. And you'll see what I mean right here. Wait, what? That's not your card? Oh, crap. Do you know how long I've been practicing this trick? And with my special deck of cards. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Ah, not bad for a beginner. Anyway, I didn't call you guys here to show you a trick. Instead, what I wanted to do is show you my handy dandy magic table or magician's table, which I made myself. I was looking online and I noticed they were kind of expensive, and also I noticed none of them were exactly what I wanted for one reason or another. So I decided to make my own. And actually the way that I started with making my own was I started with a much smaller pad, as you can see here. And this was just a handy size pad that I thought would work good. The main reason is because what this table, the stand part, is made of is a like a laptop stand or a projector stand. And so I wanted a pad that would fit, and the stand size was this exact size. And this pad right here is 11 by 16, which isn't very big, but it's big enough to give you some room for some card play and stuff. And I got a good little bit of use out of it. But then I picked up Roberto Giobbi's book, and he mentions in here that this is Card College Volume 1, by the way, highly recommended if you're into card tricks and sleight of hand. He recommends the minimum size pad that you should have is 16 by 20. So using his guidance, I went on to my favorite store, Amazon, and I found the only pad that I could find that was close to that was 16 by 23. So a little bit wider, but then I thought, I mean, wider's not terrible because it gives me even a little bit more room. And by the way, in his book, he mentions that's the minimum size, the smallest size that you want. So I figured 16 by 23 would be good. Now, I just wanted to, just in, you know, being completely honest here, this table, after all was said and done, including buying this little magic pocket that I got, was about $135. But I do want you to know that you can actually make this setup for $70 if you go with the smaller pad. Then you don't have to, because where the expense came from, obviously the pad is a little bit more expensive, but this board, for some reason wood is expensive these days. I got tabletop board, which is multiple boards glued together, and actually I had to buy a much bigger board at the store, and had them cut it. One thing that you do want to think about is you can see that this pad barely fits on here. So if you go with the 16 by 23 like I did, if you get a 24-inch table, it's not actually 24 inches. As most people know, if you're familiar with wood and stuff, it's always trimmed in just a little bit. So I thought it was going to have some extra overlap of the board, but it really doesn't. And what I did was I had the guy cut it at 17 inches. So I do have a little bit of space here, but that's fine for me. I feel like this is a really good setup, and I feel like the pad offset, this color, offsets my card decks. I love it with red cards, by the way. And then also having the tablecloth is a big difference, right? Because otherwise you would be looking at a board and a stand, you know, just a cheapo laptop stand. So I feel like the tablecloth is a huge addition to the whole setup. Plus it keeps back here kind of hidden from the audience in case you're doing anything down behind the table. Not that you would or whatever. But in a minute I'm going to go over exactly what I did, how I attached the board to this. It's really simple, just a couple pieces of hardware. Really the only work was sanding it. But so this is my table, and I think that it's very affordable. It also is something that I'm proud of because, you know, obviously I made it. So it feels good. If I'm in that same price range or maybe a little bit lower, I'd much rather do something myself because it just feels good. I feel accomplished. But let's go check out how I made it. All right, so for the top, I just went to Home Depot and picked up a tabletop that was 24 inches wide. They come in larger sizes than I needed, so I had it cut down to 17 inches. And the reason why I went 24 by 17 is because my Magic pad is 16 by 23. So I figured I just wanted a little bit of room around the edge. And as you can see, I just basically bolted it right to the laptop stand top. And I used wing nuts because just in case I wanted an easy access to pull it right off or whatever. But it was very straightforward. And I made sure that the screws were beveled so that I could get them to go in so that they'd be flush mount with the board, because I don't want lumps, right? I don't want a lump when I'm got my pad on top of here or my tablecloth. Speaking of the tablecloth, why we're down here in my workroom is because I am going to take my sander and I am going to sand down the edges and the corners. And the reason for that is because these corners are actually pretty sharp, and I don't want it, the tablecloth is a soft material, so I don't want it to eventually get worn or torn, which I think would happen pretty quickly with these sharp edges. Not to mention, you don't want to bump into a sharp edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sand all the way around so that we kind of bevel the whole thing and ease the corners up. And I'll be back in a couple minutes after finishing that sanding. All right, so you can see I've beveled the edges so that they don't pop into the cloth. Also softened this, and you can just do the feel test all the way around and just make sure if your finger is comfortably getting around, then you've done a good job. I also went ahead and sanded the top because these come a little bit rough from Home Depot. And I also wanted to mention, you don't have to have an electric, like an orbital sander or some kind of powered sander. This job can also easily be done just with regular old sandpaper. I like to use a block, obviously. Regular sandpaper can be tough to use by itself, but you can make your own block with just a little piece of wood. As a matter of fact, when I'm done using the sander on this, I actually do a pass with a heavier grit. So right here we've got 120, just to make sure that, you know, I've done a good job. And then I follow up with a more fine grit. What do we have here? 3000. So this is actually wet sanding type sandpaper, but I like to use that because it really gives it a soft, a nice kind of almost velvety feel. The wood feels so much better now after sanding. I highly recommend you don't skip the sanding stage of this project. All right, let's go back, put this on the stand, and see how it looks there. All right, so we attached it to the stand, And you can see, so this is what it looks like without the cloth. It's just a tabletop board on top of the stand. And I did want to, before I tighten everything down, I wanted to make sure that I get it, you know, close to level so that it's a good platform and everything. This is good. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten everything down, and then we'll put the tablecloth on. All right. So we've got the tablecloth installed, and as you can see, it basically is doing its job, right? The idea is that you kind of hide the fact that this is just a laptop stand. There's a little bit sticking out. I did the 7 foot by 7 foot square tablecloth, which did a pretty good job. I mean, it basically all goes right down to the ground for the height that I wanted to achieve. And you can see that, so it's a little bit wrinkled and everything from the way it was folded from the factory. Nothing that a little ironing can't fix and make it just a little bit better. But I'm very happy with the way that this part turned out. That tablecloth will do a good job of just making this look like a magician's table. The next step would be to put the, remember we got this pocket, and the reason why we got the pocket, this is not so much, like I know some people like to drag tricks off and drop them in there, but the idea for me was more, and this will go right under the mat, right? So this will all be nicely covered. The idea for me is, if I just want to store a deck or two, or maybe a pen or a Sharpie or something, it's very easy to do this here, and it's handy access for me. I'm not as much into dropping things in there, although I'm not averse to it. I just see it as a nice handy place to keep a few things, especially if you're doing multiple tricks in a row where you might need a couple different card decks or, you know, coins or other things that you would have that you want to pop out of there. It's just something, because it's a pain having to keep, because you don't want to necessarily keep multiple decks up on the table while you're performing your tricks. So this is just a handy add-on. All right, that's going to wrap up the video for today. I hope you guys appreciated it and dug what I was going over there. If you're interested in this, definitely comment below. Let me know what you think, or if you've made your own table, or if you've got some other solution. That would be awesome to hear from you. Just let me know what you guys do. Also in the comments, let me know if you like this kind of video, because I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I do a lot of different things. But if you're into magic and stuff like that, then let me know, because I'll gladly post some more videos up there. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.